Hey guys, it's Alex. Welcome to Health by Napoli, where we only talk about healthy stuff that doesn't suck. What I'm going to talk to you about today is things that you might not know before you try to go vegan. So I've spent the last about 30 days eating only vegan. Not a lot of vegan junk foods, quote unquote, but really just plants and fruits and vegetables and grains and things like that. Slowly, for the past couple of years, I've been eliminating meat from my diet little by little, but never really taking the full plunge. I wasn't ready. I didn't really want to. I enjoy meat. It's really delicious sometimes. So there's a lot of things in the pro category for eating meat, but there's also a lot of things in the con category. But after reading this book, The Longevity Diet by Dr. Longo, I should probably just go 100% plant-based. And so in Dr. Longo's book, he talks a lot about the impacts of meat on your body and the impact that that's gonna have for you to be able to live a long, healthy life. It's been pretty okay. It wasn't like I was going from 100 to 0. I was maybe going from like 40 or 60 to 0. I would have 1 or 2 vegetarian, vegan meals per day and then meat at 1 meal per day. I've also never really liked dairy. When I go to restaurants and stuff, I always get, can I have that without the cheese? That's the kind of person I am, so it wasn't hard for me to give up dairy. Eggs were a little bit harder for the last while, especially I'd been eating a hard-boiled egg every day for breakfast, so that was an adjustment. But overall, it really wasn't that hard. For breakfast, I've been having a great big bowl of oatmeal with nuts and seeds and fruits and coconut milk, and so that's absolutely delicious. Super easy, fast lifestyle. You don't need tons of time to do this. For lunch and dinner, I've kind of been eating a lot of, I don't want to say the same foods, but the same types of foods. Like last night, for example, I made a stir fry with onions and Brussels sprouts and peppers and spicy peppers, and so made all that and made a big serving of quinoa. So today for lunch I had some of the quinoa, some of those peppers and things, and then some of a salad that I had made the day before with chickpeas and tomatoes and peppers and onions and an avocado. So it was like a bit of stuff that I had prepared tonight plus a bit of stuff that I had prepared yesterday. For lunch tomorrow, I'll have a bit of the Brussels sprouts, a bit of the chickpeas, and a bit of the quinoa. It's kind of just builds on itself. And then tomorrow night, maybe I'll make a potato dish in the oven or something like that. And then that'll kind of go into the rotation for the Buddha bowl type meal. So what I'll say, kind of tips and learning experiences, is that you really, I don't anyways, like to focus on recipes and preparing these big complicated meals, because I think that that can get really intimidating and annoying and stressful. Like, oh, I didn't buy this from the grocery list, or oh, I have to get to the store because I need da-da-da-da-da. You don't need that. Just buy a bunch of fruits and vegetables, make them in different ways. Maybe one's a stir fry, maybe one's raw, maybe one's baked, maybe you make a stew in the slow cooker one weekend, and then kind of like pick and mix and match from all of that stuff, rather than saying, oh, I need to have a specific lunch and a specific dinner. What Dr. Longo says in his book is that basically, if you're eating enough volume of food, so as long as you're getting enough calorie intake, I hate calorie counting, if I'm being totally honest, but when I started with this, he's saying that your protein intake should be super low, super duper low, even lower than probably what most vegans are getting in order to live a healthy life. And so if I'm calculating correctly, it was 0.3 to 0.36 grams of protein per pound of body. Oh, math. So 0.33 times my weight. So I'm supposed to have 41.25 grams of protein per day. When I was tracking it in MyFitnessPal, I would reach that by lunch. And I'd be like, oh, how am I gonna be protein deficient? And so if you're going based on sound scientific knowledge of how much protein you should have, not what the world says how much protein that you need protein all the time, you're definitely gonna get enough on a vegan diet, for sure. As long as you're eating enough calories, you're gonna be totally fine. So the other thing that was a little bit interesting for me, kind of halfway through the experience, I started having really bad bloating. I felt like my stomach was like distended. All my pants were really tight. I was just like super uncomfortable for like a couple of days. And so I started to look at what I'd been eating, and it was a lot of raw foods and a lot of cruciferous, I want to say carnivorous. Let's just pretend that I said that word right, vegetables. And some of them raw, like I made this, it was delicious, but it was like a raw cabbage slaw. So I was eating like Brussels sprouts and cabbage, and I think it was just too much. I was also not really eating enough grains. After doing a couple of Whole30s, your grain intake has decreased significantly also. I had to start making a conscious effort to eat more grains, and that's why I brought the oatmeal in for breakfast and quinoa at lunch and maybe rice, you know, not all in the same day perhaps, but like over the span of a couple of days to make sure that I was having something that was kind of like bulking my food together so that it could pass easier. And so once I started taking that into account and also making sure that I was drinking enough water and doing all those kind of healthy movement things, all that bloating kind of really went away. Another thing that you might be surprised about by going vegan is that you might not lose any weight. If you're going vegan solely for the purpose of dropping or shedding some weight, it might not necessarily happen as quickly as you want it to. I haven't lost any weight in this 30 days. I've been exercising my regular exercise routine, sometimes a little bit more even. I haven't noticed any significant like, oh, like I'm shredded now. So if you're coming from somewhere where you're eating a lot more meat, or you're eating a lot of processed foods, things like that, and then you're moving over to this plant-based diet, then yeah, I would expect that you're gonna lose more weight. But if you're coming from a relatively healthy lifestyle, this isn't gonna be a weight loss technique. The last thing to think about is that if you have a lot of social engagements and you're gonna be out and about and with people and going for dinner, usually I'm asking for things without dairy anyways. Usually I'm looking for things that are on the healthier spectrum anyways. So for me, you know, I went to a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, that had this amazing pasta dish. But then I just asked them not to put any cheese on it. I didn't want the cheese anyways. It wasn't like I was gonna have it even if I wasn't vegan. But it didn't even really occur to me that I needed to pick different restaurants. So I went to Philly last weekend, and when you're in Philly, of course you get a Philly cheesesteak. But I opted for the meatless, cheeseless Philly cheesesteak. And yes, I did get made fun of a little bit for it, but it was absolutely delicious. It was basically all the toppings that you could get on a Philly cheesesteak, but just together without any of the meat. So good. It was delicious. So even in restaurants where you think that there's no option, like a cheesesteak, there's an option. So really, in conclusion to this dialogue, it hasn't really been that hard of a month. Granted, I'm coming from a place where I've done a bunch of Whole30s, so I'm already avoiding processed foods, I'm already avoiding added sugar, a lot of the gluten-free grains. My body can't handle soy. My body can't handle dairy. So soy, I think, is one of the things that maybe would have made it even easier. So if I could have had tofu, or if I enjoyed soy milk or something like that, those additions maybe would have made it even easier than it was. But honestly, I don't do soy, I don't do dairy, and I've been cutting back the amount of meat that I've been eating anyways. So I wasn't really like shocked. I will actually say a couple of times I felt justified in my choices because, maybe I'd be making the sugary choice or the dessert choice or, the snack at the movie choice. But because it was vegan, I was like, hey, whatever. Vodka's vegan, right? So overall, I think the 30 days going vegan was really good. I feel great in my body now after all that digestive upset kind of cleared away. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling powerful. I actually went to the gym last night and I did a double class. And in the second class, usually I'm kind of like dragging and like, woo, when's this gonna be over? Last night, I killed it. Absolutely killed it. And as I was doing it, I was like, what? Like, I got energies for days. getting this real low amount of protein has not affected my energy levels, as you can tell, and it's really made my body feel really good. But yeah, it's been a really good overall experience, and I would highly recommend it. Even if you're just gonna do a 30 days, that's totally fine. If you wanna do 30 days vegan, and then maybe afterwards you realize, oh, I don't need meat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. That's a step in the right direction, according to Dr. Longo. So moving forward, I don't think that I'm ever gonna call myself a vegan because I like the idea of having that flex in my diet. And I think as a health coach, when people pigeonhole themselves into a certain lifestyle, like I'm only paleo, I'm only keto, I'm only vegan, is that it really limits your mind mentally, and then you get into this place where you're like hating yourself and, oh, you made it terrible, or oh shit, I ate this and I didn't know that there was something in it that I shouldn't have eaten and now I'm gonna beat myself up about it. It just like becomes this whole thing. I don't like labels. I'm not gonna call myself a vegan. I think that I am 100% an advocate for a plant-based lifestyle, and if that is 100% plant-based or 90% plant-based, 80%, 70%, like that is a huge step in the right direction for your health, for your longevity, for the health and longevity of the planet. It's a good thing. So have you ever tried to go vegan? Have you done a 30-day vegan challenge? Let me know in the comments below. What'd you think of it? How'd you do? Are you still vegan? Did you give it up? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, I hope today's episode has helped you think a little bit more about a vegan lifestyle. See you guys later.